So we're going to dive into each of the components of the mentor responsibilities. So we'll start by looking at the site orientation. So each of these sections is divided into a why, a what, and a when to kind of provide the background on all of it. So why site orientation? And this is really because new educators need specific support and information within their building or their site. And so it's really critical that they have somebody there, so the mentor, to guide them through this process. So what does that all include? So the principal is going to provide some general information to all new educators in the building, and then the mentors will work one-on-one with their new educator. The site orientation, as mentioned earlier, is going to occur during the week of new educator orientation. There's a district orientation piece that happens in the morning, and then the site orientation will occur in the afternoon, so after 1 o'clock or so. And so the mentor is to split 4 hours between 2 to 3 days, and really you'll be working a lot with the building principal to figure out who's doing what and so forth, and what days that would look like. So you can see more information about site orientation in the Mentor Guidebook. The Mentor Guidebook can be accessed on staff information, and if you click on that link, it'll take you to the table of contents and bring you to site orientation, which it talks about the different topics, who essentially would be responsible. So some are more administrator things, some are mentor things, but it breaks down some topics that the mentor and administrator would be supporting the new educator with. The next mentor responsibility would be the ongoing check-ins. So the ongoing check-ins, again, why the new educators are going to benefit from this ongoing targeted support that's focusing specifically on the new educator's goals, and oftentimes can relate to some other pertinent topics for that time of the year, but it's really meant to be driven by what the new educator wants and needs at the time. So what does that look like? Well, early on, the mentor will help the new educator identify some goals, questions, concerns, and then they would meet regularly to discuss progress towards those goals and how to address the concerns. And the idea with these ongoing check-ins is that there's some consistency from meeting to meeting where you're not just talking about everything under the sun. Obviously, yes, the mentor will want to address timely topics. However, there should be some piece that kind of streams through all of the meetings in which the new educator can really focus on growing in one or two specific areas so that they have that ongoing support. When does this happen? It's going to happen outside of the school day on a regular basis, at times and places that work well for both parties. And again, it's 17 hours throughout the year. So this doesn't mean that the meetings have to be at the school building. It doesn't mean that you have to be meeting face to face. It just has to be something that is agreed upon between the mentor and the new educator. So maybe you work best meeting at a restaurant over lunch or coffee or something. Maybe you meet best after the kids go to bed, talking on the phone or doing some kind of virtual conferencing. But the when is really up to those two people and working that out together. So within the monthly check-in logs in the Mentor Guidebook, you'll find some more areas to support the new educator. And again, those are timely topics, so just ideas. However, really focusing on a goal that, or a couple of goals that the new educator would like support with. The last component of the mentor responsibilities would be the classroom visit day. So the purpose of the classroom visit day is to make sure that the new educator has an opportunity to live and see educators working outside of their own realm. So often we get isolated in teaching. We're only used to what we're doing or the way that we've seen our teachers do it. So this visit day allows them to see other educators in their practice and have others view their practice to enhance their professional growth and reflection. So we have a couple of parameters. So these are kind of the requirements, the basic requirements of the classroom visit day. The first being that the mentor and new educator are going to create a plan to focus on specific aspects of the lesson or activity that's tied to the new educator's goals. So it's not just any random thing, but perhaps the new educator wants to focus on his or her questioning skills, and so that would be the focus then of both classroom visits. So questions would come up, and how do you want to talk about that? And the reason that we have this specific focus is because it's easier for new educators to, one, make progress and growth on something that they determine is very meaningful for their own work, but then also it's very targeted and they're not looking at a million different things under the sun. So really having that specific focus as a part of the plan for the classroom visit day. The next parameter is to visit both the new educator's classroom and the mentor or another veteran educator's classroom. So we say mentor or veteran educator because sometimes the mentor is in a role that's different from the educator's role, and so it would be more meaningful for them to see someone who's in their specific role. And so the mentor will help organize and facilitate a visit in someone else's classroom, but then the mentor would be the one that would be visiting the new educator's classroom, potentially with the veteran as well, but this would occur in both rooms, so with a new educator and a veteran. Another requirement would be that you would debrief both visits, focusing on the agreed upon new educator goals. And then finally, after debriefing, kind of thinking about that long-term support. How is the new educator and their mentor, how are they going to plan to address next steps? So we don't want this to be an event in isolation. We want to look at it as a part of the new educator's learning journey and how this fits into their growth plan overall. So there is a classroom visit day planning tool within the mentor guidebook, and it walks through the entire process of how to set it up, and so you can get some more information within that resource. So there are a few classroom visit day logistics that need to be worked out because there's some things that require subs if you're out of your classroom and so forth. So first of all, the mentor and new educator need to check the professional learning sub-calendar to ensure that the date that they select will have subs available. Sometimes there are days within the district that we have big workshops going on and all of the subs are being taken for that. So you can't plan a day where there's not going to be additional subs available. The classroom visit days should occur during the first semester. We want to make sure that we're providing timely support to our new educators, so having it happen earlier on when they're first starting is really critical. Both the mentor and the new educator complete the classroom visit day form on frontline professional growth at least 2 weeks early. This is really critical, and if you don't get this form filled out on frontline, then you will have issues with approvals and subs going through. So you really want to make sure that you have at least 2 weeks so that the administrators can approve it and that the sub requests actually do go through. And there is a classroom visit day video in the mentor guidebook that will provide more specific information that details all of this. So if you need a little bit greater clarification on what these pieces look like, that video will walk through step by step what the whole process looks like. A few more logistics. There will be a total of 1 full day sub or 2 half day subs. So it's an allocation of $188. That would be the cost for that for each pair. So if the mentor and new educator each say, I'm taking this half day, then they would each get a half day sub and be able to be in each other's classrooms for that time period. You want to check to ensure that subs have been assigned periodically up until the date of the actual visit so that there are no issues that are coming through. And then of course you want to make sure that you're working with the office staff for scheduling the sub and people knowing where everyone is in the process. So again, you want to make sure to check out that classroom visit day video, and they'll provide a much more specific step-by-step of how to do this classroom visit day process. And then finally, you'll complete the classroom visit day feedback form. Both the mentor and new educator will do this, and there will be a link within the frontline professional growth form when you mark it complete. You'll be asked to complete that feedback form.